to zoning matters and also for code. First up, we'll have Brother Anthony Muhammad. Next, we'll have Henry Jordan. Just as a reminder, you have up to 2 minutes. We will be keeping the time since the screens are on. We'll be keeping the time. We'll have 30 seconds out. And if you can deal with time, I'll let you know how much you have.
Give out to the Creator God, everyone that's here. And the Lord said, I have surely seen their affliction on my people, which are evil, and have heard their cry of weakness of their passion. For I know their sorrow, Exodus 3rd chapter 7th verse. The I am what I will be is God's promise. That he will redeem the children of Israel. You know how you treat me, and I beseech you to help you. I will conscript to James 5th, and his desire is not to be a bright husband. But the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And first begin at us. What shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? 1 Peter 4 chapter 17 verse. Howbeit it means not so indicate that the Assyrians did not intend to cooperate with God. But in the providence of God, they cooperated unwittingly. I will be judged before God. When you seek to put your behind my face, you ask for death, and I'm afraid for it. So then, they are in the flesh cannot please God. Romans 8 chapter 8 verse. Now, if any man have not the Spirit of Christ, he is none of him. James 12 walk in the flesh. For to be carnally minded is death. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Romans 8 chapter 6 verse. To be carnally minded means to have one life dominated by sin nature. To be spiritually minded is to be controlled by the Holy Spirit. You desire a carnal mind or a Christ spiritual mind. Jesus gave us the power to live holy for you, to save us from damnation. God warns before destruction. And we got to take heed to God's word. I feel the wrath of God. That's what I said before you. I don't want any blood on my hand. Because I need to obey Christ myself.
Thank you. Is Brother Muhammad back in the room? Okay. Next up will be Magnolia Club.
Come on, team.
You'll have up to 2 minutes.
Team spirit behind me. Magnolia Club. Just a minute ago, it was joy. Now it's sadness. I'm so sad in my heart. I've been in my community over 40 years, and I have never experienced anything like this before. 2 months ago, I was threatened by a neighbor at 40 Brown Avenue that if I came outside my gate, she was going to kick my ass. Corona Johnson, and I have reported her to Atlanta Housing Authority. Filed a police report, and I spoke to my councilman, Winston. She assaulted me Friday. The police came. They thought I was the perpetrator. I sit at my house in front of my house, being struck for no reason at all. And the police came, did not even want to file a report. I called the captain. The captain called the
do yield the time of up to 10 minutes.
Yes, I can't not be made aware of what our sister just said, and I'm concerned about it because a lot of you know me, you know my name, I'm Tiffany Howard, I'm founder of Stimulate America, and what we just heard, it is struck a chord with me, so I have to acknowledge it before I speak. But I want to move on and just say that I represent Stimulate America and our Stimulate America Impact Initiative, the Magnolia Club, which is a free club for our legacy generation members. That's what I call it. I call our legacy generation members who are age 60 and over. And I'm here with some of our Magnolia Club members here today that are actually charter members and also new members. And I come today to give you an impact report from 2023 and also 2024, in which our program has served close to 900 seniors throughout the metropolitan Atlanta area. And our members live in all the districts each one of you serve. We have served laundry supplies. We have provided freshly cooked meals at our edification events, like our movie night, our pool party events, and our informative lectures on emergency caregiving options, senior abuse detection, prevention, and where to obtain justice. Last Christmas, we provided Christmas gifts to over 300 of our members, all in partnership with corporations and regular citizens and elected officials who were more than eager to help. And this year, in 2024, our community partners have joined us in providing over 250 gowns, tuxedos, makeovers, and more to prepare our members for the senior ball hosted by Mayor Andre Dickey. So we've come today to recognize and also present our Magnolia Club Senior Advocate Award for helping us accomplish our goals. And we want to award, there's members on the council that have helped us, and we want to award Council Member Amir Faroki. Council Member Faroki, thank you so much for supporting us in 2023 and for giving our Give Christmas to a Senior program. If you will show, this is our Magnolia Club Senior Advocate Award that we were actually supposed to give you in 2023, but I've been a little busy. And next, we want to award Councilmember Michael Julian Bond. Unfortunately, he's not with us right now, but we served together during his weekly and ongoing HelloFresh meal distribution, taking meals to our members with mobility challenges, and that's his award. And then we also want to present our Senior Advocate Award to our lifelong Georgia statesman, Vincent Ford, who has come to almost all of our Magnolia Club events to share up-to-date information about City of Atlanta news and resources and address senior concerns face-to-face. And then we also want to award Timothy Clark. Mr. Clark, would you please stand? Timothy Clark is an original West Side Atlanta citizen who has helped us prepare for our Magnolia Club event and provide rehabilitation resources to the community, saving countless lives. And it reads, to sincerely thank you for supporting the 2023 inauguration of the Magnolia Club and recognize your enduring devotion to serving the needs and fortifying the priorities of our treasured elders, which makes you an indispensable advocate for the lives of all legacy generation members in our society. Presented to you on the first day of December 2023. And like I said, forgive me, we've been busy, but our next event is our Magnolia Club Fall Senior Culture Fair, and it's powered by Sonder Health, and it's going to be at Overture Buckhead South, which is at 658 Denver Drive, and that's going to be on Friday, October 11th, and Saturday, October 12th, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., both days. And this is going to be an experience. It's about fashion, beauty. We're having seminars on various subjects, how to tackle inflation, also life providing medications and not medications, but new medical treatments that don't require you to take pills and also have surgery. So it is an interactive event. We also are having a fashion and runway show, and I hope that you all will come to that. We're sponsored by D&K City and Dillard, and they will debut their fall and winter collections on our runway, and all of our models are age 60 and over. And we need 150 male and female models, sizes 0 to 5X, and we're having a model call on September 23rd and 24th at Overture Buckhead South. And tickets and parking are free, and if you'd like some more information, you can visit our Magnolia Club Facebook group or visit our website at stimulateamerica.org. And so I just want to let you know in closing that this event serves all seniors in each one of your districts, because the Magnolia Club members are always invited to come to our event from all over the Atlanta metropolitan area. And I ask that you please spread the word to your constituents so they too may partake in our yearly resources. At the end of the year, we will be giving our Christmas gifts again at our Give Christmas to a Senior program and our Christmas Carol Celebration 2023. Thank you so much for having me. God bless you. Thank you.
You will have up to 2 minutes.
Hotel. I am brother Anthony Muhammad. I am not able to make this anymore. I am so spiritually connected to the elements of nature. I'll come here today for a simple reason. Now, Dickinson, Joe Transportation, Big Channel, Mr. Solomon, listen. Now, this is level in Southern Street. For 2 years, I asked this man to come back to repay the services of striking and making sure that the yellow lines down County Line escalated. He put some contract out there, and he did it as a project. They already have a wash director. But you go down to Greyhound, where they just built a new building, and the Transportation Commissioner has did a great job with the striking of the street, in the pavement of the street, and the same thing on Forsyth Street as you get connected to where you are. Mr. Dixon, we did a great service around here. All the way up Cascade, I see we continue to do service of the street and at the sidewalk. But when it comes to the area where I live in District 11, you don't want to do right. It's because I come to talk about, I don't care about this Democratic Party anymore. I don't care about this. We want to represent those who are highly educated, according to the miseducation of the Negro College University, who don't even want to look out for the constituents no more. You got our people living on the street all over the city now. You got your former Congresswoman, majority leader of the Democratic Party, Ms. Magnolia said, I want us to get in support of Mr. Newsom for death in California, the state of California.
Time is expired.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shook. I will greet you as I did not. I said that in the name of the Hotel.
Thank you. Next up will be Mr. Pearson. Pearson.
Afternoon, Council. I would also like to echo the sentiments and how we put up this city and how we spend the program. But today I come here with a pressing matter. It is not enough for the governing authority to continue to hear about issues in this city, but take the position that those issues can be dealt with behind closed doors. This city workforce matters, women matters, fairness matters, and it's time for us to speak up and step up. Atlanta is not a city just for white folks. Atlanta is not a city just for black folks. Atlanta is not a city just for gay folks. Atlanta is not a city just for straight folks. Atlanta is a city for all of us. Like I've always said, Maynard created the Atlanta way. We have been through the Me Too movement. That movement fostered the dawn of our time. Right now, a black woman is the front runner for president of these United States. And the city that was once on the forefront of women and LGBT rights now seen left behind us. How can we say that this is a city of opportunity for all, when hardworking women are dismissed from their jobs on a whim without a blemish on their records? How can we say that this is a city built for the future, when 5 women and a gay man can be fired or demoted, only to be replaced by men with no job posting, no experience and no interviews, and paid more than the 5 women and a gay man that was fired without just cause? How are we built for the future when those individuals are not only replaced by men, but men who are paid more than they were paid? How are you built for the future when you tell a woman who's been demoted that it is not her job to train her replacement? How are you built for the future when you tell a woman who's been demoted to train the man that you are paying more than her as her replacement? How fair is that? How do you tell her you weren't good enough to keep her position, but you are good enough to train that man who is replacing you? How can we say we foster effective and ethical government when the institution that stands for fairness is permitted to treat those who give their life to public service in the most unfair way with the assistance of human resources? We've seen that we had to fire our human resource person, Mr. Ship, and we still allowing those who think they are highly ethical to fire 5 women. Man, I had a Asian woman was in there, 4 black women and a gay man, with no due calls, no write-ups, never been late, but we allowing our court system to fire these people through our human resources, which we know we have problems with that, as we see in the recent firing of our human resource commissioner. If we stand for something, we stand when it matters, not when it's convenient. If we see it's broken, it's our responsibility to fix it, and you can. This governing body, you can. Some of you say it's not your job how you fight, it's their job, but it's your job to speak on things that is unethical, to stand up for these people, because these same people vote for you, these same people are taxpayers, and may I remind you, they are innocent, and them being fired over that man is true. So it is your job. We do not need empty resolutions for the sake of headlines. We need action for the purpose of change. Let's do what's easy for the sake of playing. Let's not do what's easy for the sake of playing politics. Let's do what's tough for the sake of responsible government. I'm again here asking that you support our employees. Let's show them that you care and that you have the power to guarantee that they will be treated fairly. Show them the character of Atlanta and the promise of the Atlanta way. What has happened at the courthouse with these employees is not right. It's time that we do our due diligence and get to the bottom of what's going on over here. Oftentimes I've seen, like we had a situation at the airport. I understand that there was a situation that brought up about employment and something, and you guys had to go to executive session. But when you guys have matters like this that is unethical and not right, and it's somewhat down misogynistic and prejudiced. So oftentimes, here's the level we face in the black community. When you have black leaders mistreat black folks, it's not racism. We can't say it's crazy. But whenever our white constituents do it, we scream blood murder, it's racist, it's prejudice. For too long, we treat our own people this way in Atlanta. We have a black mayor and a majority black city council, black police chief, black fire chief, and that's since 1974. Atlanta is now the #1 city in America for income inequality. I've never been told no by a white person that Atlanta except for this is. Most black folks in Atlanta don't know what it feels like to say, be turned away from a white person because the white people have not been in charge. We have been our own destruction. It has been to our own demise when we go to our black leaders and ask for help. And we don't get it. And they play politics and want to have this person and that person. And then it don't help us that we got a person like Antonio Lewis got to give a proclamation for Roll Park when it's Dustin Hickey's district. He ain't running up one time since black kids here. Come on. So imagine you get a guy that moves to Atlanta with an ICU number. And the city councilman then, Felicia Moore, put him at the COVID hospital. Then she endorsed him to run for mayor. During that time in Atlanta, over 300 homes have been demolished by Dustin Hickey. Now they can give it to white contractors. He failed yet to meet with any black contractor since he's been in there. Not one. So when we talk about the push out of the district now, it is on the heels of Dustin Hickey. Make no mistake. I don't care who he friends with it is. It's on the heels of him. I've seen him jump on MPU calls and say, why did y'all deny this contract? Put it back on that next one. And they approve it and push it folks out. Man, y'all think that's right? If any white folks didn't think that's right, you don't need to be in Atlanta, man. That's not the Atlanta way, man. What's good, one of my mentors got up there and said, what's good for the white neighborhood, it better be good in the black neighborhood. Because if we have too many halves, Mr. Shipman, what do you think the have not for? Please answer that. If we got too many doing good over here, and we keep oppressing over here, where do you think they're going? Never if you rob from the have not, they're going to the have. So it's our duty to make sure that it's never going to be here. We know it's not going to be here because that's been a big advantage. We started too far behind the line. We're not asking to be $10 million wealthy here. We're just asking to get above this $16,000 poverty gap. For the black people income that now is $28,000 a shit. There's no way that it should be that if we're going to say that it's a black man. I say the heck not it is. And I'm born and raised in both sides of back here. Atlanta is not a black man. No, it's not. I think this is one of the most intelligent bodies of council that I've seen. I won't disrespect narrative scene. I won't disrespect Bill Kelly. I think all those guys have a high intellect. But I think this council, because we have a few people that are born and raised and represent their district. We have a few people that's been fighting. This lady on he was fighting for that 60 years. We got it at 60. We got some people, this guy was one, I think you were one of the greatest analytical minds that have sat on us. Mr. Angel, Mr. Rocky, you guys, Mr. What's going on, Mr. Lewis? You guys are from me. Mr. Rocky, I love your father, man. He is one of my heroes. Is he a black man? No. He stood up for more black rights than any other man that's got in this city. So I think we have a council here that can get it right, but we gotta stop it. We gotta stop it. I think we have a mayor that wants to do what's right. But we all gotta help each other. If we see all the mayor office falling short, it's your job to pick up the pieces because these people also vote for you. Some of you guys in here hold that at-large seat. We have an empty at-large seat that is, we don't say it's vacant. I think it's up to you guys to pick up the pieces. You know what I'm saying? Because if the people 9, 10, 11, 12 can't be represented by their at-large person, then it is everywhere. That's right. When that McKinneyville mass shooting took place, it is the job for everyone to partake in. I don't live in Buckhead, but when that white woman was stabbed by that 25-year-old black gentleman, I was one of the first ones to her house. I was in court making sure that justice be served. And I'm a black man, but do I think I was right for this young black got stabbed this 7-year-old white woman? Heck no. Injustice, it was injustice everywhere. And I'm not against white men. These things happen. I know, you may not have a concentrated district, represented by the people all over Atlanta. So I would like to see you sometime this, you know, I know you do a lot for the people around town, but we got to do more because our city is shrinking and we have too many injustices. Thank you.
Scott. To 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Director Scott. I'm the Vice President of Progressive Firefighters, where Tyler Nelson is my president, and also a long-standing member of Local 134, where Nate Bailey is my president. A few years ago, I witnessed 134 leadership put a strain on political relationships and question the administration's decisions regarding the fire department. As a result, I joined the Political Action Committee of Local 134. At that time, I applauded and also defended Mr. Bailey as everyone in the room was able to ask questions, provide input, and also had a vote when it came down to who was going to be endorsed. The Lord at the time even made a point to foster positive relationships with those who did not receive an endorsement. I still remember hearing different voices and said, "This feels good," as he acknowledged the diversity in the room. If I remember right, Councilmember Bakhtiari and Lewis Shaw have to represent as well. Congratulations to you two. I brought that up to let you know today I'm not speaking from the state of ignorance. When I say the mayor should be applauded, because unlike mayors of the past who experienced some of the same treatment, he has remained committed to public safety and proven that by addressing pension, pay, station improvements, and over $26 million in apparatus and equipment. With that said, we're here today to talk about collective bargaining. And despite the rumors, progressive firefighters are not against collective bargaining. What we are requesting is that we give the people a fair information session before they require to vote. That's all we're asking. We submitted an email to you guys and also Nate Bailey requesting it. We did not receive a response, but we received messages from members asking why we're going against 134. Now, if there's one against 134, you need to question what we should say.
Time to start. Councilman Lewis.
Mr. Scott,
Yes, sir.
thank you so much for your comments. I'm back with the information myself, from my I come late. It's beautiful. When I understood about things that collective bargaining was about to happen. I know we don't have contracts, but I saw the state of Georgia for the firefighters to do contracts. So me myself personally, I pulled the union to the side of the firefighters and I made it to the side. I told them, reach out to the mayor, try to get this down. I said, everybody got this council up here. This is the council that can get it done. I gave everything you need to go and we started moving towards this. We are here now. I fell back because I saw the ball rolling down. I saw strikes. I saw the ball rolling down the alley of strikes. I fell back on. I appreciate you for coming in. I've been receiving emails. I will become more active in it. I thought we had a strike because if we have a progressive, if we are a labor-friendly city, if we are a progressive city, this is easy. If we're a progressive city, I say that because in the state of Georgia, right now, they're trying to fight y'all. So I found that coming out of labor, spent the last 7 years working in labor. I understood that this is a sneaker, this is not really supposed to do this in the right to work state. The only people that can do it are firefighters. Currently, there's legislation in our Republican state house where they're trying to end this, what they call the loophole with firefighters being able to bargain for their own rights. So we got to get it done ASAP. So other cities in the state can get it done. You know, we can't let other people get it done before we. So I request that. You said my name, I'm pulling out. Mr. Bailey, thank you for the emails. Progressive firefighters, thank you for your reaching out to us and strong and solidarity. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All we're asking is that we give the people fair right information, but they can't here today on behalf of the dedicated men and women of the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department. It has come to our attention that many firefighters are confused regarding the matter of collective bargaining and the voting process. Unfortunately, fire personnel have not been able to obtain clear information from the leadership of 134, leading them to seek clarity from us, progressives. As our organization grows in both numbers and presence, we remain committed to transparency and truthfulness in our fire department. The confusion that has plagued our department for too long must come to an end. Last week, we sent an email to all city council members and the leadership of Local 134. Thank you to those that council persons responded. However, I did not receive a response from Local 134's leadership. This silence is concerning, especially considering the importance of this matter. It is imperative that all sworn personnel, whether they belong to an organization or not, are fully educated on the significance of collective bargaining. Recently, flyers have been posted around the fire stations urging everyone to simply vote yes, yet the majority of our personnel do not fully understand what, why, or who they are voting for. It appears that our fire personnel are being instructed not to think critically, but merely to follow orders and vote. The city of Atlanta has set great examples when it comes to educating our members. For instance, when the pension restoration was announced, representatives spoke to all personnel regardless of their organizational affiliation to educate us on what we were receiving. The city also sent empowered representatives to explain the implications for our 401k. And once again, we're deeply grateful for restoration of the pension and all the appeals to our fire department. Collective bargaining is a matter of great importance, one that affects the entire fire department. Therefore, it warrants an educational session. Members of Progressive, Local 134, and personnel with no affiliation to either organization deserve the right to be fully informed. Title 25 clearly states, and I quote verbatim, in lieu of an organization. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up will be Scott Bennett.
I no longer need to speak.
Okay. Next up will be Vance McCoy.
He doesn't need to speak.
Rob Nyhouse. Rob Nyhouse or Niehaus. Next will be Nate Bailey. Due to yield the time up to 10 minutes.
Afternoon, council members, Mr. President, and Nate Bailey, President of the Atlanta Professional Firefighters, IFF Local 134, also President of the Professional Firefighters of Georgia. I want to thank Brother Tyler and Brother Reggie and all the brothers and sisters that came down here to support us today. I apologize for not getting back to them, but we have a real pressing matter that we had to handle this week. If anyone wants to meet and talk about collective bargaining, I would be glad to do that. And I actually took a bunch of vacation time just so I could make some rounds this week and meet with everyone and inform everyone about workplace code rates. Again, we have a bigger pressing problem that has come to light over the past week. When our pay plan was given to us and shown to us 2 months ago, we knew immediately that something was wrong. We knew immediately that it was not accurate. We couldn't figure out how it went so wrong. It kind of resembled our 2019 pay slip. The only changes in the salary structure was really the base starting firefighter pay and the chiefs getting the big pay raise. Convenient. We want everyone to pay a good salary, have a competitive wage, but we got to take care of all of our firefighters. So we started digging. We made some open record requests, and we received them last week, and what we found was pretty devastating. Apparently, the case study for fire was completed in December 7th. Mercer met with the administration to discuss the results, and it was about $8.6 million allocated to implement the fire plan. And then on December 19th, it was discussed with human resources or someone in the administration to remove 4 cities from our peer group after the city knew the cost, after the study was completed. Those 4 cities were Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, and Philadelphia. Conveniently, Philadelphia and Los cents, according to the pay study, it's about a $58 a year raise. I've never heard of anything like this happen. We tried to do as much research as we could. We have seen where cities will do a pay study and only implement it to 80% or 90 percentile, but we've never seen the study completed, get the cost. Let's pull some data out so we get a number and drive it way down. Pretty devastating, especially after what we went through with the last pay study. I don't know what it is with fire. We can't seem to get a pay study implemented. Actually, we hope this ends pay studies for public safety. We hope this ends pay studies. You'll get a better plan and cheaper. You sit down and take place. And I say that as a fact because once we saw the pay plan and it didn't make sense, we offered up an alternative proposal. And it just so happens it came in cheaper than the actual versus pay study that was completed in December. And the documents just don't make any sense because two of the cities they pulled out, Atlanta has a higher livable wage than Chicago or Philadelphia. So we just want to know why does fire always get their pay studies manipulated and altered? And we're asking you all today to come together and help us. We gotta have you today. If we don't change that pay plan, we might not recover. Because this is a 2-year implementation. And all the cities and counties around us, their top firefighter pay is over $70,000. What's worse is the 2019 pay study, the top firefighter pay was $68,000 in 10 years. The pay plan that's shown to us after 4 cities were removed is $68,000 in 15 years after 20% inflation. That's basically going down. That's going the wrong way. 7 years ago, fire PD had about the same salaries. Right now, police officer tops out at $82,000 in 10 years, and according to the pay plan we were given, it's $68,000 in 15 years. And it's not right. It's unacceptable. I was devastated when I opened those slides and saw that. I could not believe it. I could not believe it because we sat in a room and we said, man, we thought for sure our top firefighter pay would come out around 75. And the real pay plan came back at 75 on the dot. And it's just all we want. We're not asking for more than the pay study. There are other unions and I have locals, man, they want everything. All we want is, what did the study come back to with the peer group that was given to the Mercer group? That's what we want implemented. Because that'll put us at market. It's a good pay study. Mercer did a great study. And council, mind you, we paid $314,000 for this pay study. That's citizens' tax dollars. Only to, that looks expensive, let's see what we can do here. And it dropped to $5 million. I think everyone understands now why we pursued collective bargaining in 2021. Because of the last pay study. It didn't get implemented. And then boom, 2024 same thing. And to any firefighter that wants to know about this, this has become my life, unfortunately. So I'll meet with them, I'll go to their house, I'll do anything they want to know about collective bargaining and the bargaining agent and the vote. We'll be there with them and give them any information they need. It has been difficult because we have asked, and it's really not their fault. We've had quite a few HR commissioners, so there's been a lot of changeover. But we have asked the city to do the vote with us and do a whole informational session and put information out. So we found a way to do a secret ballot on our own and ensure that everyone gets to vote. And we're going to hold that vote open for 3 weeks just to make sure everyone has the opportunity to vote. And that'll be completed on September 26th. So the vote will be completed and we'll submit. The American Arbitration Association is doing the vote independently, and they'll submit the certification to the city once completed. And then hopefully we can start bargaining next year over some pay cycle and internal HR issues. That's really our driving force for collective bargaining right now, is to clean up efficiency and make sure policy aligns with code. We weren't really worried about the pay plan because we thought for sure it would come back competitive. But the actual pay plan did come back competitive, but then when it's changed, you really sergeants, lieutenants, and captains. And according to the pay plan that was implemented, our year 9, 10-year firefighters are actually going to take a pay cut. And that's after 20% inflation. We're only asking for the actual pay study that was completed in December. No other employee group had any bigger cities removed from their study. No other employee group had their pay plan altered. PD actually went up from the federal investment. They got to go to the advocacy. Ours got gutted by about $5 million. So we're asking you all today to help us out. And I want to add, Tyler, as you came up, Lady Dickens has been great for us. I mean, the pension changes are going to be outstanding. And Lord knows how much these fire trucks cost. I know that every time finance has to write a check, we know they're expensive. We wish they weren't, because that'd be more money we could use for other things. But they are expensive, and we're grateful for them. But with the pension changes, we got to have a competitive salary. And that's what we're asking for. We're leaning on your heart today. I know. I thank you all for your sacrifice away from your family, taking the phone calls and texts. And that goes to everyone in the building. And if you guys need anything from us, anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. And again, thank you so much for helping us out today.
Thank you.
Praise the Lord Jesus, right? We got homeless people dying on the streets. And they're famous for years. Why do I have to, and these other men and women have to protest and beg and threaten y'all to do your jobs that you're supposed to do? Police are being called to people's houses and they're not doing their jobs. Homeless people dying on the streets. It's beginning to get when 19 people died in the wintertime, close to death. In real streets. Okay, you asking me, you telling me this educated, I'm an educated black man, I'm like this is food. You telling me people come from other countries, to this country, feed homeless people on the street. So we just done. Okay, you telling me that other people come from other states to allow to be homeless, and that state not making money for this state, but it won't be on the streets. See, how much money does you make off every homeless person on your streets? If you want to talk finances. See, you think I'm not as smart as you keep thinking. Now, I know what the Bible, you heard what the Bible says. You want to live by the Bible. We don't want to live by the Bible. You know, I'm not gay, I'm not prejudiced, I'm not none of those things. But I will say this. If you dog the poor, then God can dog you.
Thank you. Next up will be Siegfried White. Who yield the time you have up to 4 minutes.
Good afternoon, City Council Presidents. I want to echo what I heard sitting here, senior citizen who was assaulted by me. Something he did about that. Your wife, I'm pretty sure that tried to steal that as well. Also, to the firefighter, got up and spoke floor. Thank you, my friend, for coming out in Mechanicsville, standing with the family, talk to the family. I see my good friend, Norman Lewis, here left, and I apologize to him. Talk to the family, and remember, I was informed that he did get in contact with the family. However, I'm still saying that there have been no less in the shooting of the 5-10 victims in the Mechanicsville area. City council persons, I haven't seen that many people out there. Ms. Boone, he apologized. I don't know what you may be doing behind the scenes, but whatever's done in darkness will become brought to light. All right? So I just want you to know that Reverend White is still going to be out there fighting for the poor. As you heard on the news in my district where I work and serve the people out there beside Gateway, it was sad to know that the person that we were serving to feed in they jumped off the bridge and killed themselves. It was on the news this call. They jumped off the bridge. Homelessness. They couldn't put up with it. You're out there in the street seeing homeless people. Affordable houses. If you keep going up on houses, pretty soon those that was in the house will be homeless. Because you keep going up on the houses. Affordable houses. Make it equitable for everyone to afford a home. If I don't make that much money, I tell you what, afford a home. Dr. Amos, thank you so much. You did. I put a proposal I sent to all of the council persons talking about a proposal that I have for those who are living underneath the bridge. Thank you, Dr. Amos. You did talk to me, and we're going to meet about that. So thank you for coming. Let me know that you did read it, but I guess everybody else is busy. They didn't send anything about it. Also, we got to, and hopefully I can talk with some more of the council persons here because, as you know, that I got to go to court. I was put in handcuffs. The city council, I got put in handcuffs again in Atlanta, downtown, doing the different meetings. I was out there preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I was told that I couldn't preach the gospel and put in handcuffs again, would take me to jail. But as you know, I've already got a court date on October 6th. My crime is preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ and trying to help those and trying to be a spokesman for those who can't speak for themselves. God bless you.
Next is David Riegler. Up to 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is David Riegler. I'm a paramedic lieutenant with the City of Atlanta Fire Rescue. Been with the city for 12 years. Part of my job every day is I'm the engine officer at the station's 120 Buckhead. Directly responsible for the lives of 3 people that ride on the engine. Regardless of the time of day, of the 24-hour shift, whether it's 7:30 in the morning, the first call of the day, or 4 a.m., call number 15, and we have members that run 20 calls regularly on a shift. We're responsible for performing at the same level, regardless of the time of day. Under the current pay plan, my salary will increase by $58 per year before taxes. Over the course of the year, that's $1.11 per week. This bottle of Powerade costs $1.01. After taxes, that's not enough to buy this. That comes out to 2 cents per hour because we work a 53-hour week. In a 24-hour shift, that's not 50 cents. The decisions I make as a first engine officer directly affect the outcome of that call. Whether it's an EMS call, showing up to help one of your loved ones, if it's a fire call, the decisions I make as a first engine officer set the groundwork for how that call is going to go. And even if I make every decision right, there is no guarantee that we will have a positive outcome. But I'm expected to make the right decisions all the time. 2 cents per hour, that's an insult. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next will be Undream Kong. Undream. Duty on the time go up to 4 minutes.
Despite being a diligent tenant and active community member, circumstances beyond my control have placed my children and I have being without home. I have been working tirelessly to rectify our situation, securing 3 part-time jobs and working my business to generate income and striving to reestablish financial stability as I work to find work back in my field of cybersecurity. It's been a tough market. However, as many of you may know, there is often a gap between immediate needs and the slow accrual of steady work. This is where timing of financial assistance becomes critical. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Councilwoman Liliana Bakhtiari and her team, including Nick Poe, who have diligently worked to connect me with Housing Help of Atlanta. Their support has been invaluable during this challenging time, and you can be honest, so thank you. I am also immensely thankful for the opportunity to personally share my hardships with Mayor Andre Dickens, who then referred me to work with Demetrius McRae. Their collective efforts give me hope that a resolution is surely within reach. I have been fortunate to receive some support or talk to support through programs like the Star Seed, but due to constraints in timing, this assistance does not fully address my immediate needs. The funds are set to arrive after crucial deadlines, placing the stability and security of my children and I at risk. We cannot afford this delay nor endure the trauma and the disruption of the mission. This is not just a plea for my family, but also a call to action for all Atlanta families facing similar crises, as many of us have been laid off in this tough job market. As I stand here, I respectfully request the City Council to consider additional resources or interim measures that can prevent imminent evictions for families who are actively working to improve their situations. I firmly believe that with your support, we can bridge this gap. Together we can ensure no more families are left without a place to call home, and that our city continues to be one where every citizen of Atlanta can thrive. I am grateful for your attention, your empathy, and most importantly, your commitment to creating meaningful solutions for residents like myself. Thank you for considering the gravity of my situation and everything you do to support families in need. I am hopeful that I can come to a resolution quickly, as I am close to the finish line. Also, in addition to, and this is like 20 seconds, I had, threads of emails of being able to speak with Starseed, and they were wanting to fund me for September. And then at the last minute, on August 30th, they decided that they were not going to fund me for September, but paid in September. The issue with this is, and I'm sorry about that.
Mrs. Squire.
Okay, I understand that, unfortunately, that doesn't stop property management from adding September to that, and that will not cancel an admission.
Time, Mrs. Squire.
Thank you.
Councilman Montiero.
I just want to take a moment so that I wanted to give some insight into working with some training as well, who I've gotten to know over the last few years. And I want to make it very clear this was a woman that was used as a spokesperson for affordable housing development. And that same development is seeking to fit in here now. And I think that is something important to know because I think oftentimes we use people as trophies and lift them up, only to later take away from them when no one is looking what they can fought hard to earn. And I want to also applaud you because you have a community, you are an incredible mother. I've gotten to know your kids in the last few years. I work with, the social worker APS that works with your kids and with you, and you are loved. You have gone to every appointment we've ever suggested in private jobs. I want to make the point that this is an individual who has hustled, who works hard, who has tried to take advantage of every opportunity given to her, and is still facing eviction because of the bureaucracy of these processes that are not made, in my opinion, legal in housing, but in turn to make the fastest amount of money possible. And I know it's ironic to some of you as somebody who's part of this body to be sitting up here saying this, but there are those of us who are trying to make resources like this more accessible. That's why we ran. And it is what people ask of us if they do shopping face, how hard it is to help people because of the way the system is built. So you're not alone. We're going to keep you at this. I am so sorry that this has repeatedly happened. And I'm so glad that we're able to help you because there's thousands of others just like you who have not had the access to me and others. And that's not to say that you are lucky. It's to say that I'm lucky to work with you, and I'm going to still keep doing everything in my power. But I wanted my colleagues in this room to hear that this is an individual, because oftentimes we say people ask for it. That is not the case. This woman has done everything possible, done everything asked of her to stay her home. And I will keep working with you, and I am so sorry for what you have done, but I really wanted to applaud you for all you've done.
Thank you. Next will be Ken Rowland. You'll have up to 2 minutes.
We are now 2/3 of the way through this very difficult year. A recent meeting of the Transportation Committee showed a question with Marta's finances in the years 2017 through 2019. A little history may be in order. In 2017, the taxpayers voted a T-Plus to improve the MARTA system. This T-Plus was to generate $2 billion. That's with a B. The public was promised new trains and an expanded rail and bus system. I believe that is starting to happen. But I have not seen any new rail cars in all this time. As for the finances, the person who would have the answer to those questions would be the MARTA general manager at the time. Unfortunately, he is no longer with us. I heard him step in front of a train and committed suicide. Imagine the shock at the driver when he saw the boss hanging off his front windshield. As a result, it will take time to figure out what is going on with the MARTA finances. So, we have a problem with the water department, pipes busting. The airport, where expensive equipment is sitting around that is supposed to be utilized to maintain the runways. And the water
Next will be Kim Shorter. You'll have up to 2 minutes.
This year we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Mayor Jackson and the FD system. I urge Mayor and Council to really reflect on his intentions that neighborhoods have a meaningful voice in the decisions that impact our communities. As a hardworking taxpaying volunteer of the FDU system, myself and the other volunteers with the FDUs, BCAs, and CRBs give of our time with that goal of working together to protect our community character. As Mayor Jackson said, love must be a city filled with people working together to improve the quality of all of our lives. We want our voices to be heard over those of corporations and special private interests. In return for all the time that we dedicate, we ask that City Council truly internalize and listen to our recommendations. Trust that we know our communities very well and we're trying our best to represent them. We the people don't have fancy law firms, we don't make large political contributions, but we do vote. We work hard, again, we try to protect our communities. Each of you stated that you support neighborhoods and protecting Atlanta's neighborhoods, and we ask that you reflect on that promise as you do the work of the city. We the people are watching, and we are very hopeful that you care about our communities as much as we do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next will be looking. You'll have up to 4 minutes to the yielded time.
Well, good evening, political gangbangers, political criminals. I stand here today. I want to thank Mr. Dozier as well for coming out, being with families, giving them information to get some help for their family members while they are in the hospital. I know that a lot of people came up here and they thanked Mayor Dickhead for the work that he is supposed to be doing inside of the community, even some of our elders. I pray that he doesn't steal any more money than the money that he owes, and that maybe they can get him to pay back some of that money. I don't understand how we have all these people stealing all this money but being praised. We got Funny Willis on break loose, getting loose, anybody can get it, Jezebel, y'all just keep her in office. She done stole money. We got Sheriff LaButt. Lord knows he done stole so much money. I mean, I hold documentations and paperwork in my hand right now, waiting on Drea Boones for her attorney to contact me because of money. We have so in what I hold in my hand, you all have. And haven't done anything about it. So this documentation that I have right here is going to a higher up. This is a warning. A warning. A warning. Some of this looks familiar to you. But this is the reason why money can't be allocated. This is the reason why our firefighters can't be paid. Because we have insufficient funds that are being played and went around with our city officials. And nothing is being done about it. Absolutely nothing. But then when you come up here, you look dry-faced, you look sick, you speak out about your attorneys getting in contact with us, you make all kinds of different, remarks, like we up here playing. See, if I come down here, I got receipts. Now, I think I showed you my receipts, by the way. But I got it. And I just be waiting on the lead. Because like I tell you all the time, you're art, but I act. So, I'm going to continue to come down here and continue to come down here until y'all wake up. Now, I know, like they said, we got some of y'all that's up there that is some good. That's why I say, hey, the shoe fit, wear it. If not, please don't include yourself in it. If I call you out, that means that I have more than enough receipts. Hi, Sheriff LeBud. I am taking your job and I am going to sentence you to jail. I have a warrant hearing on Friday for Sheriff LeBud. I'm not playing. I'm not even playing by shortstop. So, Dre, you ready, baby?
Next up will be Al Bartel. We'll vote to 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Al Bartel, as the chairman of the World Human Rights Network. I rise to speak on the request of this council to create and approve a resolution to establish an Atlanta Peace Movement. A resolution to establish an Atlanta Peace Movement will have an impact on organizations and individuals who want to create peace, such as Street Rooms and the Cultural Path Peace Network, who on the 8th will have an event by the Capitol that's preceded by Black Men's March to Bring Peace. It will support organizations like Mothers Against Gang Violence, who courageously take on dismantling violence. I've been in Cleveland Avenue, Oakland, Councilman Lewis. A resolution for an Atlanta Peace Movement will support seniors who take on enterprises and businesses who harbor violence and have the kind of support of an initiative that created over in Councilmember Boone's district. A resolution for an Atlanta Peace Movement will allow us to come together as a city and dismantle the framework of violence. 50 years ago, our city was governed by all women. In 1974, it got changed to city council. That's a legacy. Now, 50 years later, we create another legacy and have this council have a resolution for an Atlanta Peace Movement, dismantle violence in the dawn of the 21st century. As chairman of the World Human Rights Network, I can give my resources, my time, and my intention to this legacy as we move forward in the 21st century.
Thank you. Next up will be Shamari Owens. No. Okay, that wraps up public comment for today. I want to thank everyone who came forward to speak to the council. Next, we will move to the report of the journal. Madam Clerk.
Good afternoon. I, Commander Angel, Municipal Clerk of the City of Atlanta, to hereby certify that the minutes of the regular meeting held on Monday, August 19, 2024 are true and correct.
There are no additions or edits to the journal. I would entertain a motion to adopt. Moved by Councilmember Juan, seconded by Councilman Montiaro. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt the journal? We do this via unanimous consent without any objection. Any objection to the motion to adopt? Madam Clerk, please have the count on unanimous consent.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
8 yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt the journal carries. Next, we move to communications.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 1 is 24C, 51.
Sisters to serve as a member of the Commission to determine an appropriate manner in which to honor Mayor Shirley Clark Franklin. Staff recommendation to refer to Community Development and Human Services Committee and Committee on Council.
The item follow that course.
Next item we have is 24C 5116. This is a communication from Mayor Andre Dickens appointing Ms. Walida Phipps to serve as a member of the Civil Service Board on behalf of the City of Atlanta. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. Staff recommendation to refer to Finance Executive Committee and Committee on Council.
Let the item follow that course.
Item number 3 is 24C 5117. This is a communication from Municipal Clerk Corinne Lindo submitting a report of an administrative correction made to previously adopted legislation between the regular council meeting dates of August 19, 2024 and September 3, 2024 to the Atlanta City Council in accordance with Section 2-275 of the Atlanta City Council Code of Ordinances, correcting Ordinance Resolution 24R 3448. Staff recommendation to accept and file.
Let the item follow that course.
That concludes the communication items, Mr. President.
Great. I don't believe we have any vetoed legislation or unfinished business today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So we'll move now to the consent agenda, section 1. These are items that begin on page 4. They are for second reading. The appropriate motion will be to adopt. First, let me ask, are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda, section 1 today by my colleagues? Okay. Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adopt. Moved by Councilmember Juan, seconded by Councilmember Hillis. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt the consent agenda, section 1? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote, or do we need to do a voice? Please open the vote on the motion to adopt the consent agenda, section 1. Nine yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt the consent agenda, section 1 carries. Councilmember Juan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to move 24R 3940 to the mayor's office post haste. Again, that's 24R 3940 on page 17, item 28.
There's a motion to move 24R-3940 by Councilor Juan to mayor's office post haste. Is there a second? Seconded by Shook. Is there any discussion on the motion to move post haste? We can do this via unanimous consent without objection. Any objection to the motion to move post haste? Madam Clerk, please sound the count of unanimous consent. 10 yeas, 0 nays. The motion to move post haste carries. Now we'll move to the consent agenda, section 2. These are items that begin on page 23. They are for first reading. Thus, the appropriate motion will be to refer. First, let me ask, are there any items to be removed? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to refer. Moved by Councilmember Juan, seconded by Councilmember Bakhtiari. Is there any discussion on the motion to refer the consent agenda, section 2? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to refer. Ten yeas, 0 nays. The motion to refer carries. We'll now move to the report of standing committees. First up today will be Finance Exec Chair Shook. You may want to stay at your...
We're on page 25, colleagues. First up is 24O1450, and I would move to bring forward a substitute.
The motion to bring forth a substitute by Councilmember Shook, seconded by Councilmember Juan. Is there any discussion on the motion to bring forth a substitute? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. We do this via unanimous consent. Any objection to bringing forth a substitute? Madam Clerk, please sound the count of unanimous consent on the motion to bring forth the substitute. Ten yeas, 0 nays. The motion to bring forth the substitute carries.
All right, fine. I'll read the caption of the proposed substitute. This is an ordinance by Mr. Juan, substituted by Finance Exec, authorizing a donation to the Atlanta Pride Committee in an amount not to exceed $41,000 on behalf of the City Council to support the 2024 Atlanta Pride Festival pursuant to the charter section indicated here and for other purposes. The nature of the substitute is it plugs in the amount, and I will move approval on substitute.
There's a motion by Councilmember Shook, seconded by Councilmember Juan to move to adopt 24-0-1450 on substitute. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt this item as substituted? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt. 10 yeas, 0 nays, the motion carries.
Thank you. 24-014-53 is an ordinance by Mr. Winston, as amended by Finance Exec, amending the charter sections indicated here to offer current participants in the 2010 pension plan an opportunity to elect to move to the 2005 pension plan and for other purposes. This came forward favorably out of committee on condition of receiving a memo that we needed from the city attorney. The memo is now in hand, so I will motion to amend in that memo.
So motion to amend 24-014-53 by Councilmember Shook, seconded by Councilmember Bakhtiari. Is there any discussion on the motion to amend this item? Hearing none, move to a vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to amend. Ten yeas, 0 nays. The motion to amend carries.
Move approval as amended.
There's a motion by Councilmember Shook, seconded by Councilmember Wan to move to adopt as amended 24-0-1453. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt as amended? Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt this item. Ten yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt as amended carries.
24R3835 is a resolution by Ms. Boone authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute procurement agreement, a number of which is indicated here, mobile community referrals and diversion services on behalf of the city, pursuant to the section of the code indicated here for a term of blank and an amount of blank. We need to file this. It was inappropriately submitted as a resolution. An ordinance affecting the same outcome will be introduced at the end of this meeting, so the motion is to file this.
There's a motion to file coming out of committee. Is that coming out of committee or is that yours, Councilmember Shook?
That came out of committee.
Coming out of committee to file 24R3835. It doesn't need a second. Any discussion on the motion to file this item? Hearing none, move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to file.
Thank you.
It's 4709. It's wrong. It's 47. On page 25. Where's your agenda? $37.09.
Okay, that's what? That's the post haste.
We're still waiting on we've got a motion to file. All right, Councilmember Shook, let me ask that you withdraw your motion to file and then you resubmit the motion on the correct number.
Yeah, thank you. Withdrawn.
So he's withdrawn his motion to file. So Councilmember Shook.
All right, so the correct filing belongs to 4R3709. I'll move to file that document.
37, which one?
3709.
09. Okay. So Councilmember Shook has a motion to file coming out of committee 24-R-3709. It's the same item that you just referred to, correct?
Correct.
Does not need a second. Is there any discussion on the motion to file this item? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to file 24R-3709. Ten yeas, 0 nays, the motion to file carries.
All right, I neglected to move 24-014-53 to the mayor's office post haste. I'll make that motion now.
There's a motion by Councilmember Shook to move 24-0-1453 to the mayor's office post haste. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Wan. Is there any discussion on the motion to move post haste? We can do this via unanimous consent without objection. Any objection to the motion to move post haste? Madam Clerk, please sound the count on unanimous consent. 10 yeas, 0 nays. The motion to move post haste carries.
All right, thank you. 24R3982 is a resolution by Finance Exec authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into an agreement blank with West Cascade Park sculpture installation with Jonathan Amatador, DBA May Fix LLC, pursuant to the code section of the indicated here for a signature metal and stone sculptural public artwork for West Cascade Park to be installed by the parking area in an amount not to exceed $130,000 to be charged to and paid from the sources indicated here. This came forward favorably on the condition that we receive a finalized agreement, which we have not received today. So sorry, Ms. Collier-Overstreet. I will move to hold this in the breast of council.
There's a motion by Councilmember Shook to hold this item in the breast of council. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Juan. It's non-debatable, so we'll move directly to a vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to hold this item in the breast of council. Ten yeas, 0 nays. The motion to hold in the breast of council carries.
That is all.
Thank you, Chair Shook. Next up will be the Committee on Council, Chair Bakhtiari.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. If there are no objections, I would like to take items number 1 and 2 as a block.
Any objection? Please proceed.
Item number 1, 24-C-5093, a communication from Mayor Andre Dickens appointing Mr. Tony Lowe to serve as a member of the Chattahoochee Brick Company Memorial Green Space and Park Board. Item number 2, 24-C-5112, a communication from Mayor Andre Dickens appointing Ms. Thomasina Robinson to serve as a member of the Civil Service Board on behalf of the City of Atlanta. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. Each were found favorable in their committee's purview, and the recommendation out of committee is to adopt.
There's a motion coming out of committee to adopt 24-C-5093 and 24-C-5112. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt these two items? Given their communications, we do this via unanimous consent. Any objection to the adoption of these two items? Madam Clerk, please sound the count of unanimous consent. 10 yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt these items carries.
Thank you. Item number 3, 24-R-3983, a resolution by Committee on Council establishing a City of Atlanta temporary task force in accordance with Section 3-401 of the City of Atlanta Charter to be charged with reviewing the processes and procedures of the Office of the Inspector General, the Ethics Office, and the Governing Board of the Office of the Inspector General and the Ethics Office, and with making written recommendations to the Mayor and the Atlanta City Council in regards thereto, to establish that this task force shall hold no fewer than 3 public meetings and shall make its report to the Mayor and the Atlanta City Council no later than 45 days from the approval of this resolution and for other purposes. The recommendation out of committee is to adopt.
There's a motion coming out of committee to adopt 24-R-3983. It does not need a second. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt this item? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt. Eleven yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt carries.
Mr. President, that does conclude my legislative agenda, but with your permission, I would like to make an announcement.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So my role as Committee on Council Chair has really been focusing on our base appointments and ensuring that people who volunteer their time are actually able to do so in a way that results in something. I don't want people none of us want people being appointed to a base that is not meeting and that does not have quorum. If it's not being, that does not have quorum, and we want to make sure that we are actively doing our jobs to ensure that we are meeting that quorum. So the current focus right now is the Atlanta Commission on Fatherhood of Men and Boys. The intention of this is to create structure for development of policy recommendations regarding issues facing fathers, men, and boys in the City of Atlanta. We need 3 more appointments for a quorum. The current vacancies, mayor has 2 appointments. Posts 1, 2, and 3 each have an appointment. Districts 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11 each have 1 appointment. So I will be bringing forth my recommendation for my seat. So I encourage my colleagues to please do the same. As soon as we reach quorum on this, we'll be moving forward with another base committee to ensure that we are getting all of those filled. So that does conclude my report.
Thank you. Next up would be the Zoning Committee. Chair Westmoreland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we have 25 items for second reading and then 2 ordinances for first reading. Without objection, I will take items 1 through 6 as a block. The recommendation is favorable and the motion is to adopt.
Please proceed.
Item number 1, 23-0-1650 Z2386, Campbellton Road Overlay. The ordinance is to amend Part 3, Land Development Code Part 16, Chapter 43, Section 16-43.003, Use Regulations of the Campbellton Road Overlay. Item number 2, 24-0-1218 Z2443. It's a Beltline Overlay. This ordinance is to prohibit data centers within the Beltline Overlay District. Number 3, 24-0-1222 Z2444. It's a text amendment to amend various provisions of the zoning ordinance, including creating a definition for data center by amending Chapter 29 and by amending the regulations for various districts to prohibit data centers within a half mile of a high-capacity transit stop. Item number 4, 24-0-1240 Z2404. It's 523 Whitehall Street Southwest. This ordinance is to rezone from I-2 to I-Mix. Item number 5, 24-0-1350 Z2447, 1672 Carroll Drive Northwest. The ordinance is to rezone from R4A to R4B. Number 6, 24-0-1321 Z2436, 718 East Avenue Northeast. This ordinance is to rezone from R4BL to R4BL. Okay. Items 1 through 6 were favorable, and so the motion coming out of committee is to adopt.
Motion coming out of committee to adopt these 6 items. It does not need a second. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt these items? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt these 6 items. Ten yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt carries.
Thank you. Colleagues, without objections, let's take items 7 through 19 as a block. They are coming out of committee favorable as amended, so the motion would be to adopt as amended.
Please proceed.
Item number 7, 24-0-1019 Z2379 at 665 and 693 Marietta Street Northwest. This ordinance is to rezone from I-1 MSA to MRC3 MSA. Item number 8, 24-0-1024 U2337, 665 and 693 Marietta Street Northwest. This ordinance is for a special use permit for a dormitory. Number 9, 24-0-1025 U2338, 665 and 693 Marietta Street. This ordinance is for a special use permit for a hotel. Item number 10, 24-0-1242 Z2419 is 1060 Donnelly Hollowell Parkway. This ordinance is to rezone from MRC3 CBLWPIZ to MRC3BL for a major site plan amendment. Item number 11 is 24-0-1252 U2412 2045 Hosea Williams Drive Southeast. This ordinance is for a special use permit for a daycare center. Item number 12, 24-0-1348 Z2442 is 883 Dale Drive Southeast. This ordinance is to rezone from R4 to R4A. 13 is 24-0-1352 Z2449. It's 596 Payne Avenue Northwest. This ordinance is to rezone from SPI3 SA1 WIZ to SPI3C SA3 WIZ. Item number 14, 24-0-1351 Z2448. It's 580 Payne Avenue Northwest. The ordinance is to rezone from SPI3 SI1 WIZ to SPI3 SA3 WIZ. Item number 15 is 24-0-1353 Z2450, 616 Oliver Street Northwest. This is rezoned from SPI3 SAI WIZ to SPI3 SA3 WIZ. Item number 16, 24-0-1355 U2415, 3717 Vermont Road Northeast, 3727 Vermont Road Northeast, and 3741 Vermont Road Northeast. This ordinance is for special use permit for a garden. 24-0-1356 U2419 is 131 Whiteford Avenue Southeast, is a special use permit for an outdoor dining at an eating and drinking establishment. Item number 18 is 24O-1357, U-2420. It's 950 West Marietta Street, Northwest, Suite B-140. This ordinance is for a special use permit for a non-residential use or establishment exceeding 7,500 square feet in an area in which alcohol beverages are sold or consumed on the premises. Item number 19 is 24O-1315, Z-2428, 3750 Peachtree Road Northeast, 3717, 3727, and 3741 Vermont Road Northeast is to rezone from RG 3C and R3 to RG 3C and R3C. Items 7 through 19 were favorable as amended coming out of committee, so the motion is to adopt as amended.
There's a motion coming out of committee to adopt these items as amended. Does not need a second. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt as amended these items? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt these items. Eleven yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt as amended carries.
Item number 20, 24O-1216, Z-2438. It's a text amendment. The ordinance is to amend the Atlanta zoning ordinance by creating a new chapter, 18Z SPI 26, and to amend the official zoning map. Item number 20 was favorable as substituted coming out of committee, and so the motion from committee is to adopt as substituted.
There's a motion coming out of committee to adopt as substituted, 24-0-1216. Any discussion? Councilmember Faroki.
I'm in favor of this paper, but I'll note we received a smattering of emails, some of which in opposition, and some of those asked me to recuse myself from this vote curiously, after I voted at the zoning committee meeting. I conferred with the ethics office and the law department, who confirmed that I do not have a conflict on voting on this matter. I'm an alumnus of the school. My mother served for 2 years as head of school, and I was on the board of trustees all prior to my time on council. I have no affiliation with the school, no kids there, no family members with kids there, no family members who work or serve on the board of trustees there, and I don't serve in any capacity in that way either. So I have no material, personal, or other conflicting interest on this vote. Thank you.
Other discussion on the motion to adopt as substituted? Hearing none, move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt as substituted. Ten yeas, 1 nay. The motion to adopt as substituted carries.
Without objection, items number 21 through 24 can be taken as a block. The committee is making a recommendation to file these items.
Please proceed.
24O-1245, Z-2422, 1109 Moreland Drive Southeast. This ordinance is rezoned from R4 to MR3. 24O-1246, Z-2423, 807 Reed Street Southeast is to rezone from R4BC to PDH. 24O-1313, Z-2426, 3074 Margaret Mitchell Drive Northwest is to rezone from R3 to OI. 24O-1358, U-2421, 889 Howell Mill Road Northeast Suite 8000. This ordinance was for a special use permit for a non-residential use or establishment exceeding 7,500 square feet in the area in which alcohol beverages are sold or consumed on the premises. The committee recommends filing these items, so the motion is to file.
There's a motion coming out of committee to file these 4 items. It doesn't need a second. Is there any discussion on the motion to file these items? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to file. Ten yeas, 0 nays. The motion to file carries.
Next item.
Oh, hold on just a second. Councilmember Lewis, how do you want your vote reflected? Sorry. Councilmember Lewis is an aye. 11 yeas, 0 nays. Motion to file carries.
Next up is 24R3945. It's a resolution by council members Liliana Bakhtiari, Marcy Collier Overstreet, Michael Julian Bond, Matt Westmoreland, Antonio Lewis, Andre L. Boone, Dustin Hillis, Alex Wan, Jason Dozier, Byron Amos, Amir Faroki, Jason Winston, and Howard Shook, is amended by the Zoning Committee to request that the Department of City Planning build and maintain a repository of all approved sidewalk waivers and for other purposes. Item 25 was favorable as amended, and so the motion is to adopt as amended.
Motion coming out of committee to adopt as amended 24R3945. It doesn't need a second. Any discussion on the motion to adopt as amended? Hearing none, move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt as amended. 11 yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt is submitted carries. Councilmember Bakhtiari.
Thank you. First, thank you to my colleagues for putting this through, but I wanted to raise this issue to my colleagues to ensure this is to any waivers that have been granted in our districts. This is meant to create a master list of that. I would encourage, though, in the meantime, that my colleagues each consider creating a district-specific sidewalk fund as we start fleshing this out further so that we will have a place to place dollars from these impact fees as these waivers are happening or not happening, as we gain more information so that we are prepared and we have the structure in place to ensure that we're spending money on sidewalks in our own districts as we work this out with city planning. I would just ask that you all consider taking this step to get that fund set up and to talk to finance about it to ensure that we are doing everything we can to get those funds used in each of our districts to increase multimodal connectivity. That's all.
Thank you. Chair Westmoreland.
In closing, we have two items for first read. Without objection, I will take them as a block.
Please proceed.
24-0-1465, the text amendment. The ordinance is to amend 21-0-0235 for the purpose of correcting Chapter 25, Section 5D, duration of special administrative permit requirements for urban garden as principal use in a residential district. And item number 27 is 24-0-1466, Z2460. It's 583 Garson Drive Northeast. This ordinance is to rezone from C2BL to SBI 15 SA4BL. I make a motion to refer items 26 and 27 to ZRB and Zoning Committee.
There's a motion by Councilmember Westmoreland to refer these two items to Zoning Committee and ZRB. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Bakhtiari. Any discussion on the motion to refer these two items? Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to refer. Let me yeas, 0 nays. The motion to refer these two items carries.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next up will be Public Safety and Legal Administration. Oh, Councilmember Dozier first before we move on.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to say thank you to colleagues. I know we voted on this item a couple of votes ago, but wanted to wait until my colleague, Councilmember Westmoreland's report was over. Just say thank you for supporting our effort to restrict the use of data centers across the city of Atlanta, particularly in the parts of our city that we want to preserve for people, activations of pedestrian, walkability and cyclists and things like that. We need people to make that happen. And by restricting a use that, you have a 100,000 square foot building with 5 employees, doesn't exactly do that. And it's been a long journey, like any zoning legislation is. But what is unique about this particular legislation is not only did we have the full support and endorsement and co-sponsorship from every member of this body, but we had unanimous support from all but one NPU, and we had unanimous support from all members of the Zoning Review Board. And so the wins were pushing us in a direction that really, I think, has set Atlanta apart from other cities across the country in that we're looking to make some changes in how we treat data centers in our urban core. And so I'm thankful for you all as a body for being there alongside us to make sure we can get this over the finish line. I also want to extend a special thank you to my colleague, Councilmember Westmoreland, for your support in making this happen. We talked about this, I think, over a adult beverage about 5 months ago, that it was something that was important for the city, especially concerning Atlanta is one of the fastest growing data center markets in the country. But just want to thank him especially for joining me in this fight. And I know he's waiting to speak next. I want to give him an opportunity to say a few words as well.
No, any conversation over adult beverage is a good conversation. I'll make a motion in Councilman Dozier's honor to send 24-0-1218 and 24-0-1222 to the Mayor's Office post-haste.
Motion by Councilmember Westmoreland, seconded by Councilmember Bakhtiari to send these two items to the Mayor's Office post-haste. Any discussion on the motion to move post-haste? Any objection? We do this via unanimous consent. Madam Clerk, please sound the count of unanimous consent. Please sound the count of unanimous consent. 12 yeas, 0 nays. The motion to move these two items post haste carries. Councilmember Lewis, I believe you also had, before we go to the next committee meeting, you had an item.
Thank you. I want to pull 24R 3944, page 16, and send it to the mayor's office post haste.
There's a motion by Councilmember Lewis to move 24R 3944 post haste to the mayor's office. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Bond. Was that a second?
Yeah.
Seconded by Councilmember Bond. Is there any discussion on the motion to move this item post haste? Without objection, we do this via unanimous consent. Any objection to moving 24R 3944 to the mayor's office post haste? Madam Clerk, please sound the count of unanimous consent. Twelve yeas, 0 nays. The motion to move post haste carries. Councilmember Bond.
Thank you for the acknowledgement, Mr. President. I apologize I was tardy for today's meeting, but I understand that you all have already considered the Galloway rezoning paper. Since I did not cast a vote, yea, or wasn't present, I'd like to ask someone on the prevailing side if they would reconsider that vote so I can have my vote recorded.
What's your vote going to be, Councilmember Bond? Motion to reconsider.
There's a motion by Councilmember Faroki to reconsider, seconded by Councilmember Lewis. Is there any discussion on the motion to reconsider? Let me go back just to get the item number in front of us. 24-0-1216. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to reconsider. What's that? Yep. Yeah.
Galloway has a black president. That's why they're all up in arms about this. They don't want him to be successful.
12 yeas, 0 nays. Motion to reconsider carries. We are now back to discussion on 24-0-1216. Councilmember Faroki.
Motion to approve.
It's actually, do we need a motion to approve, Mr. Parliamentarian? Do we need another?
Oh.
It is back on the floor. So it has a motion to approve that has been seconded. We just have any debate on this item. Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt as substituted 24-0-1216. Ten yeas, 2 nays. The motion to adopt carries. Councilmember Bond.
I just wanted to explain my vote. I am very familiar with this community and very familiar with the Galloway School, and actually had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Galloway. My brother and sister attended Galloway. My nephews and some cousins attended Galloway. And I find Galloway to be obviously a great institution in Atlanta and a great school. But however, I am sympathetic with the neighbors who are in the surrounding community that have reached out to me over, and I'm sure others, over the weekend about the way the process was handled and how their negotiations vis-a-vis with the school went. I was hoping that there would be some compromise that would be reached that would be more satisfactory to the neighbors. But since that has not occurred, I wanted to have my vote recorded in that manner. I'm a big supporter of Galloway, have been for many years, but I just felt that maybe something more, something better, some type of compromise might have been reached. So I just wanted my vote to be reflective of the comments of the persons from the community that reached out to me on this matter.
Thank you. With that, we will move to Public Safety and Legal Administration. Vice Chair Hillis, I believe, is giving the report today.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have two items. First item is on page 44, 24C, 5113, a communication from Daniel Hampton, Chair Audit Committee, submitting the performance audit report of the Fire Fleet Maintenance. The motion is to accept and file.
The motion coming out of committee to accept and file 24-C-5113. Is there any discussion on the motion to accept and file this item? Hearing none, we can do this via unanimous consent. Any objection to the motion to accept and file? Madam Clerk, please sound the count of unanimous consent. Ten yeas, 0 nays. Motion to accept and file carries.
Next and last item is also on page 44, 24R 3897, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute the First Amendment to sole source agreement number listed and First and Alert Radio Interference Controller for fire station maintenance and support services with WestNet Inc. on behalf of the Department of Aviation to add Atlanta Fire Rescue Department as an authorized user and add funding for additional services in an amount not to exceed $339,844.46. All contracted work to be charged to and paid from the fund, department, and organization and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Motion from the committee is to file.
The motion coming out of committee to file 24-R-3897 is there. It doesn't need a second. Is there any discussion on the motion to file this item? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to file. Ten yeas, 0 nays. Motion to file carries.
Thank you. That concludes the report of the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee.
Thank you. Next up will be the City Utilities Committee. Chair Lewis.
President, we have no report today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be CDHS Committee. Chair Winston.
Thank you, Council President. We have no report, but if you don't mind, I would like to make an announcement.
Please proceed.
Thank you. The Community Development Human Services Committee of the Atlanta City Council will hold its third quarter Comprehensive Development Plan Amendments public hearing tomorrow, Wednesday, September the 4th at 6 p.m. in person right here in the Atlanta City Council chambers. Materials for this hearing will be posted on the Community Development Service Committee presentation page, and the agenda is available online for the public notices as of today. Thank you.
Thank you. Final committee today will be the Transportation Committee. Chair Amos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since the final committee, I will talk very slow. No, seriously, we have two items coming out of committee. First item is 24-0-1448, item number 1, page 57, coming out of committee favorable on substitute. Ordinance by Councilmember Marcy Carr Overstreet, and she wanted me to remind everybody she is watching. So an ordinance by Councilmember Marcy Carr Overstreet as a substitute by Transportation Committee waiving Part 2, Code of Ordinance, General Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code, Division 4 of the Atlanta City Code, authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to execute the Second Amendment of IFBC DOT 202208-1230054-2021 LMIG Street Resurfacing Project Group 2 South with Magnum Paving Company Incorporated, and to exercise the final renewal option for a term of 1 year effective November 24th, 2024 through November 23rd, 2025, to add funding in an amount not to exceed $10,008,498.00. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein and for other purposes. Recommendation is to adopt.
There's a motion coming out of committee to adopt 24-0-1448. It does not need a second. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt this item? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt. 10 yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt carries.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last one is 24-0-1449, item number 2, page 57, forwarded with no recommendation on substitute on condition. An ordinance by Councilmember Howard Shook as substituted by the Transportation Committee waiving Part 2, Code of the Ordinance, General Ordinance, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code, Division 4 of the Atlanta City Code, authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to execute the Second Amendment of IFB-C DOT 2022-08-123-0054-2021 LMIG Street Resurfacing Group, Project Group North with Stewart Brothers, Inc. to exercise the final renewal option for a term of 1 year effective November 13, 2024 through November 12, 2025, to add funding in the amount not to exceed $7,147,240.32. All contract work shall be charged to and paid from the account listed herein and for other purposes. This was forwarded to council without recommendation or condition. The condition has been met. Recommendation is to adopt.
Actually, since it did not have a recommendation, I need a motion. I'll take that as a motion, Councilmember Amos.
Yes, motion to adopt.
There's a motion by Councilmember Amos, seconded by Councilmember Hillis to adopt 24-0-1449. Is there any discussion on the motion to adopt this item? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the vote on the motion to adopt. Ten yeas, 0 nays. The motion to adopt carries.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ends my report.
Thank you. That concludes the reports of the standing committees. Next, we will go to personal papers. There are none that I see for immediate consideration, so we'll move to those for referral. As you know, we are going in the list in order to expedite the clerk's work. So first up today will be Councilmember Amos.
Yes, sir. AMS number 36038, a resolution by Councilmember Byron D. Amos, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to apply for and, if awarded, accept federal funding from the United States Department of Transportation Railroad Crossing Elimination Grant for fiscal year 2024 in an amount not to exceed $2 million for the at-grade railroad crossing feasibility study and alternative analysis of identifying at-grade rail crossings and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36038 will be referred to the Transportation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Bond. Oh, that mic's not working. This one's not.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have Helms ID number 36148, an ordinance by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2025 water and wastewater commercial paper notes budget in the amount of $50 million and 0 cents to transfer funds from the Series 2021 water and wastewater commercial paper notes and funds to the sewer group for SG4 small diameter rehabilitation project and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36148 will be referred to the City Utilities Committee.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up will be Councilmember Boone.
Thank you, Mr. President. Elms ID number 36152, 36152, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone, Liliana Batiera, Dustin Hillis, Michael Julian Bond, Byron Amos, Jason Dozier, Jason Winston, Antonio Lewis, to amend Chapter 114, Personnel, Article 4, Classification Plan of the Code of Ordinances, City of Atlanta, Georgia, so as to provide for certain position abolishments, creations, reclassifications, class creations above entry or authorizations, employee position transfers, funding allocation changes, and other personnel actions in line with the FY 2025 budget for the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36152 will be referred to the FEC.
Elms ID number 36153, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone to amend Chapter 114, Personnel, Article 4, Classification Plan of the Code of Ordinances, City of Atlanta, Georgia, so as to provide for certain position abolishments, creations, reclassifications, class creations above entry authorizations, employee position transfers, funding allocation changes, and other personnel actions in line with the FY 2025 budget for the Department of Watershed Management to ensure parity with and between other enterprise funds and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36153 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
Elms ID number 36049, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone authorizing the mayor or his designee to waive the competitive source selection provisions contained in Section 2-1187 of Article of the Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, as well as any other conflicting code provisions to execute the Second Amendment to Sole Source Agreement, SSP-S-1230056, Milner Technology Maintenance and Services with Milner Technologies, Inc., to add additional funding on behalf of the Atlanta Police Department in an amount not to exceed $553,950.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account number listed herein and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36049 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
Elms ID number 36045, in order to amend the fiscal year 2025 budget by transferring an amount not to exceed $2 million from the general fund non-departmental account for the Summer Youth Employment Trust Fund account and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36045 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
Elms ID number 35997, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone to authorize the Atlanta Development Authority, DBA Invest Atlanta, to create and capitalize a new fund, the Neighborhood Impact Recovery Fund, by transferring up to $500,000 from the Atlanta Rapid Response Loan Fund to support small businesses, authorizing the creation of the new fund pursuant to that intergovernmental agreement for economic development services between the City of Atlanta and Invest Atlanta for the public purpose of supporting small businesses, to repeal 24-0-1374 and for other purposes.
Elms ID 35997 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Dozier. Uh-oh. You skip over Councilmember Dozier. Did you just step out? Let me skip over Councilmember Dozier, go to Councilmember Faroki.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two papers, Elms ID 36041, ordinance by Councilmember Mayor Faroki, authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute procurement agreement, RFP EPS XE number 2403-1240271 mobile community referrals and diversion services on behalf of the City of Atlanta and pursuant to Section 2-1189 with the Policing Alternatives and Diversion Initiative, retroactively effective from July 1, 2024 for a term of 2 years and with two 2-year options to renew in an amount not to exceed $5 million and 0 cents. And for the first 2-year term, all contracted work to be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36041 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
And one more paper, ELMS ID 36147, an ordinance by Councilmember Amir Faruqi authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed $2,500.00 from the District 2 discretionary fund account to the Kid Kong Association to assist with the programming at the J.D. Sims Recreation Center and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36147 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hillis.
Yes. First item is ELMS 36155, an ordinance by Councilmember Dustin Hillis authorizing the transfer of $15,000.00 from the District 9 carry forward account to the District 9 distribution account to continue serving the Atlanta community for the public good and for other purposes.
ELMS ID 36155 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
ELMS number 36146, an ordinance by Councilmember Dustin Hillis to amend Chapter 10, Article 2, Sections 10-92B of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances so as to provide an exemption from the distance requirements listed in Section 10-88.1 for package stores licensed to sell malt beverages and/or wine for an establishment located at 1535 Chattahoochee Avenue Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia 30318, and for other purposes.
ELMS ID 36146 will be referred to the Public Safety Committee.
ELMS ID 36043, an ordinance by Councilmember Dustin Hillis to amend Section 104 of the Atlanta Building Code so as to establish a new fee structure for residential and commercial projects valued under $75,000.00, which will incur a flat fee in compliance with Georgia House Bill 461, which amends certain provisions, Section 48-13-9 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, to authorize the Director of the Office of Buildings to adopt policies and procedures to implement the fee structure and for other purposes.
ELMS ID 36043 will be referred to the CDHS Committee.
ELMS ID number 36048, an ordinance by Councilmember Dustin Hillis, a Series 2024 bond ordinance to ratify, reaffirm, supplement, and amend the certain master bond ordinance adopted on March 31, 1999, as previously supplemented and amended to provide for the issuance by the City of Atlanta of its water and wastewater subordinate lien revenue bonds, Series 2024, and the aggregate principal amount not to exceed blank dollars for the purpose of financing the cost of the acquisition, construction, improvement, betterment, and extension of its combined drinking water, sanitary sewer, and wastewater system, to approve the preparation and use of a preliminary official statement and official statement in connection with the offering for sale of the Series 2024 bonds, to supersede and waive all resolutions and ordinances or parts of resolutions and ordinances that conflict with the provisions of this ordinance and for other related purposes.
ELMS ID 36048 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
Thank you. That completes my items.
Thank you. Councilmember Dozier.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 items. The first one is ELMS ID number 36050, a resolution by Councilmember Jason Dozier authorizing the City of Atlanta to donate a total amount not to exceed $700,000.00 to 24/7 Gateway LLC, also known as Gateway Center, pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta's Charter to support coordinated shelter and supportive services for individuals experiencing chronic homelessness in the City of Atlanta, authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a donation agreement which shall detail the actions of 24/7 Gateway LLC to support coordinated shelter and supportive services for individuals experiencing chronic homelessness in the City of Atlanta, to authorize the chief financial officer or his designee to make the donation authorized hereby from the accounts listed herein and for other purposes.
ELMS ID 36050 will be referred to CDHS Committee.
All right, next item is ELMS number 36125, an ordinance by Councilmember Jason Dozier to amend the 1982 City of Atlanta zoning ordinance as amended, Part 16 of the Land Development Code, so as to extend the boundaries of the Calmelton Road overlay from Honeysuckle Lane Southwest to Lee Street Southwest and for other purposes.
ELMS ID 36125 will be referred to the Zoning and ZRB Committees. Thank you. Councilmember Lewis, are you ready? Okay.
Thank you, President. Elms ID 36141, a resolution by Councilmember Antonio Lewis requesting the mayor or his designee to install traffic calming devices on Bridgewater Street Southwest in order to reduce speeding and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36141 will be referred to the Transportation Committee.
Yeah, he's not. Elms ID 3615, an ordinance by Councilmember Antonio Lewis, Councilmember Andrea Bone, Councilmember Howard Shook, Councilmember Jason Winston, Councilmember Byron Amos, Councilmember Alex Wan, Councilmember Michael Julian Bond. An ordinance to amend 1982 Atlanta zoning ordinance is amended by amending Chapter 18U SPI 21 Historic West End Adair Park Special Public Interest District regulations to designate data centers within a half-mile of high-capacity transit stops and as a permitted use in Sub-Area 9, Adair Park, live work of SPI 21 and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36150 will be jointly referred to the Zoning and ZRB committees.
And want to add Councilmember Amir Farouki.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Councilmember Shook.
Elms 36149, resolution by Shook requesting the Commissioner of Atlanta DOT to conduct a traffic study on Alpine Road, North Hills Drive, and Brentwood Drive to determine the need for any methods to restrict and ban parking along the residential streets during Buckhead baseball and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36149 will be referred to the Transportation Committee.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Elms ID 36139, an ordinance by Councilmember Alex Wan to rededicate the namesake of the Atkins Park neighborhood from Confederate Colonel John DeWitt Clinton Atkins to Dr. Eliza Atkins Gleason to honor her legacy in the field of library science and her impact on the City of Atlanta, to waive certain provisions of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances relating to the dedication of public places within the City of Atlanta, which are not applicable where a dedication is initiated by the City of Atlanta and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36139 will be referred to the CDHS Committee. All right, thank you. Councilmember Winston.
Thank you, Council President. First is Elms ID 36109, an ordinance by Councilmember Jason Winston to request the issuance by the Atlanta Urban Redevelopment Agency of its revenue bonds, Series 2024B, in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed the amount to be named later, to assist with financing the cost of the acquisition, construction, and installation of certain surface transportation improvements located within the Atlanta Urban Redevelopment Area, number included, blank, blank. Collectively, the project authorizing the execution, delivery, and performance of an intergovernmental contract, a bond purchase agreement, continuing disclosure agreement, and related documents and certificates authorizing the execution of an acknowledgement of service and the filing of the answer on behalf of the city and validation proceeding relating to the Series 2024B bonds, authorizing the preparation, use, and distribution of a preliminary official statement and official statement in connection with the sale of the Series 2024 bonds by the agency, approving a designated officer of the city to deem final the preliminary official statement for purposes of Securities and Exchange Commission rule listed, and approving the City of Atlanta amended and restated urban redevelopment plan to authorize the chief financial officer to create the bond fund number to be listed to amend the fiscal 2025 budget by adding to the anticipations and appropriation bond proceeds in the aggregate amount not to exceed the number listed, and bond premium in the amount not to exceed the listed number and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36109 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
Elms ID 36047, an ordinance by Councilmember Jason Winston, an ordinance to amend the ordinance 24-01219 to increase the Department of Watersheds encumbrance authority for the watershed consent decree plan and other components of its capital improvements plans to $750 million and 0 cents to amend the encumbrance related to certain projects for the Department of Watershed Management, to waive all resolutions and ordinance or parts of resolutions and ordinances that conflict with the provisions of this ordinance and for other related purposes. I omitted to say that was an ordinance by Winston and Lewis.
Items ID 36047 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee.
An ordinance by council members Winston and Lewis authorizing the defeasance and redemption of the City of Atlanta Water and Wastewater Revenue Fund Bond Series 2027A and Water and Wastewater Revenue and Revenue Refunding Bond Series 2018B, authorizing the execution, delivery, and performance of an escrow deposit agreement to effectuate the defeasance and redemption of said bonds, to supersede and waive all resolutions and ordinance of parts of resolutions and ordinances that conflict with the provisions of the ordinance and for other related purposes.
Items ID 36046 will be referred to the FEC.
Items ID 36110, a resolution by council members Dozier, Shook, Bakhtiari, Boone, Amos, Faroki, Hillis, Bond, Westmoreland, and who am I missing? Let's just say all council members present, to express the commitment of the City of Atlanta to an investment of $10 million and 0 cents over 6 years from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund for the public purpose of supporting the City of Atlanta's rapid housing initiative, the provision of permanent supportive housing and related efforts to make homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring in the City of Atlanta, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer or his designee to make all payments from the accounts listed herein and for other purposes.
Items ID 36110 will be referred to the CDHS.
Items ID 36111, an ordinance by all council members present, an ordinance to request the issuance by the Atlanta Development Authority of its revenue bond homeless opportunity project, series numbers listed in the aggregate principal amount of not to exceed the number that will be listed, to finance all or part of certain capital costs associated with approximately 500 units of quick delivery rapid housing, 200 additional units of permanent supportive housing, and other related projects in the City of Atlanta, and to pay the cost of issuing such Series 2024 bonds, to authorize the mayor to execute, deliver, and perform an intergovernmental contract by and between the authority and the City of Atlanta, to authorize acknowledgement of service and the filing of an answer on behalf of the city and validation proceeding to be brought in validating the Series 2024 bonds, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer and city financial advisors to determine the amount, advantageous method of sale of the Series 2024 bonds, to authorize the sale of the Series 2024 bonds through a direct placement to a bank or other financial institution, or by competitive or negotiated public sale to the extent deemed advantageous, to authorize the mayor and Chief Financial Officer to solicit bids from banks or other financial institutions, or if required, to enter into a bond purchase agreement and continuing disclosure agreement in connection with the sale of the Series 2024 bonds, to the extent that the Series 2024 bonds are to be sold in a public offering, to approve relevant portions or a preliminary official statement and financial official statement, to authorize certain related actions, all in connection with the issuance of the 2024 bonds and for other purposes.
Items ID 36111 will be referred to the CDHS Committee.
An ordinance by council members Dozier.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Yes, please proceed.
An ordinance by council member Winston, Dozier, Bond, Amos, Boone, Faroki, Hillis, and Faroki, to amend Part 20 of the Land Development Code of the City of Atlanta to streamline its police power regulations applicable to short-term rentals, so as to continue to ensure that short-term rentals are paying applicable state and local taxes, while removing additional regulations to eliminate confusion concerning eligibility to operate a short-term rental within the City of Atlanta and for other purposes.
Items ID 36036 will be referred to the CDHS Committee.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Westmoreland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Elms ID 36122, an ordinance by Westmoreland authorizing a donation in amount not to exceed $5,000 and 0 cents to the Latin American Association pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta Charter and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36122 will be referred to the Finance Exec Committee. I believe we have one more from Councilmember Boone. Okay. Any others today for referral? Okay. With that, we will move to general remarks. Any general remarks from the body? Oh, what's that? Oh, you have a paper. Sorry, my apologies. Councilmember Bakhtiari.
Elms ID number 36158, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari, Shook, Winston, Faroki, Amos, Juan, Hillis, Bond, Dozier, Westmoreland, and Lewis, urging the Atlanta Department of Labor and Employment Services to explore programming designed to connect senior citizens with existing part-time employment and volunteer opportunities within the city of Atlanta and for other purposes.
Elms ID 36158 will be referred to the CDHS committee.
Thank you. That concludes my
Okay.
paper.
Any others for referral? All right. With that, we will move to general remarks from the body. Any general remarks from the body? Councilmember Dozier.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to let our community members know that District 4 is hosting 2 events this week. The first one is on Thursday, September the 5th. We are partnering with Atlanta Housing, as well as Choice Neighborhoods, as well as the People's Agenda for a voter registration drive, which will be held at Roosevelt Hall on Atlanta Student Movement Boulevard over by the Atlanta University Center. Even though this is in partnership with Atlanta Housing, we are strongly encouraging our students at the Atlanta University Center, whether you are connected to Morehouse, Spelman, Clark Atlanta, Morris Brown, ITC, and the whole shebang, come on down, get registered, and be prepared to vote this coming November. And then secondly, our office is hosting a public safety town hall for the Mechanicsville community. I know over the last several city council meetings, we've had a number of residents concerned about what we are publicly decrying as a mass shooting in the Mechanicsville community. And it's not the only one we've experienced in the last 2 to 3 years. And so we are bringing all of our city's resources to the table, everyone from APD to the solicitor's office to code enforcement to the SWEET team. We want our community members in Mechanicsville to know that the city has your back. And so that will be on Saturday, September 7th at 12 o'clock p.m. So yeah, hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Bakhtiari.
Thank you. I just got news as we were sitting here from one of my neighborhood presidents in East Atlanta, Chase Miller, who has successfully adopted his first child with his partner. And I just want to congratulate them and welcome Anastasia Renee into the world.
Mazel tov.
Happy to have you. So, yes, thank you.
Other general remarks? Councilmember Amos.
Yes, sir. As always, want to get back into the thing of welcoming people on their work anniversaries. First, we have Mr. Dennis Conway, been with us for 2 years.
Hey.
We have Ms. Evelyn Scott, who has been with us 13 years. Of course, Stephen Dennis, 2 years. And then, of course, Lamar Parks have been with us for 27 years. So just want to wish them a work anniversary, happy anniversary. Then last but not least, had a opportunity to witness what we hope will be an annual event, and that was, which I call fondly the Institute of Technology of District 3, which better known as Georgia Tech, actually played Georgia State University this weekend. It was a wonderful game. Of course, the District 3 people won. Georgia Tech won. So the Georgia State, representatives, we look forward to visiting y'all on next year. So we can start this not crosstown rival, but downtown rival, 2 magnificent universities and higher places of education in the city of Atlanta.
Thank you. Any other general remarks? I would make one. I just want to thank everyone who was involved in the winning of the Final Four tournament for 2031. Of course, the tournament couldn't happen in Atlanta because of COVID, and so it will be wonderful in a few years to have the Final Four basketball tournament back in downtown Atlanta. And with that, we will call the closing roll. Madam Clerk.
Council President Doug Shipman. Here. Councilmember Michael Julian Bond, Post 1 at Large. Councilmember Matt Westmoreland, Post 2 at Large. Councilmember Jason H. Winston, District 1.
Here.
Councilmember Amir Faroki, District 2. Councilmember Byron D. Amos, District 3. Councilmember Jason Dozier, District 4. Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari, District 5. Councilmember Alex Juan, District 6. Councilmember Howard Shook, District 7. Councilmember Mary Norwood, District 8. Councilmember Dustin Hillis, District 9. Councilmember Andrea O'Boone, District 10. Councilmember Marcy Color Overstreet, District 11. Councilmember Antonia Lewis, District 12.
Thank you. Without objection, we will stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.